Yo guys, welcome back. How are you? How are you today? We've got emails, we've got things to do, so let's go through. Let's just dive right in. Hello Carl, I've been watching your videos for a while now and I'm a huge fan. Thank you very much, mate. Thank you. I have a serious problem with my voice though. I can remember this happening for 5 or 6 months now because I started to experiment with more challenging songs. I always get vocal fry scream involuntarily. By trying to control it gives me much tension. While I'm happy with my tone and breath control connection, sorry. Whoa! But as soon as I start, sooner or later the problem will occur. There's 3 demonstrations he's sent me. The siren record shows that he can connect to head, voice and chest. The song record is to see how it appears throughout performance, how it destroys the upper register control, and the sustain recording is a single note that it occurs on. Important notes, it always feels the same. I can produce it on demand without significant tension. Sounds like super distorted vocal fry. More rarely it happens on lower register while I sing and speak, but it's controllable and less tensioned than on the low range. It just coexists with the actual tone. I'm not sure if English is first language, but bear with him. We'll get these headphones on and have a listen in a sec. I would be thankful for a lifetime if you could address the problem and maybe give me something I can try to eliminate it. Thank you in advance. Well, thanks for the email, and let's have a listen. So first note, just before we start listening to these little demos here is, he's had the problem for 5 or 6 months, but specifically it started when he started experimenting with more challenging material. And by that, my assumption is he means higher notes, maybe different types of sounds, that kind of thing. When you start to hit the boundaries of what you're capable of technically. Yeah? A lot of singers tend to sit in the comfort zone and never branch out. This guy's obviously trying to branch out and do something more. He's trying to become better than he is currently, which is a great sign for a singer. But he's running into problems. Let's listen to the problem first. So the problem is, let's listen to the sustain first. Whoa, okay. Let's listen to the song.
If you leave it, close the door. I'm not expecting people anymore. I'm a blind man. I'm a blind man.
Sweet. Okay, and let's just listen to the siren. Ooh, okay. So that siren is nice. Let's diagnose the problem. What's occurring here? This sustain is interesting. So what I mean by this is, when I say interesting, it's just in this demonstration. It's actually a pretty released tone. It's pretty clean, actually. Now, why is it changing? This is a point I want to drill home. There's only 2 things that could be happening. If it starts clean and you can sustain it, and it's not pulled, and I don't think that's pulled. It's a wide open vowel, but it doesn't really sound pulled. It sounds like chesty, yeah, but it doesn't really sound pulled to me. If something changes, something's changed. I'm going to say this again because it's so simple that people might even, disregard it. But too often a singer's asking me, basically, I've changed something and something's changed. Why is that? Well, the point is, if something's changing, what's changing? There must be a sensation in here that is moving, yeah? If I move my arm, motion's happening. So the only other cause for a change in the voice would be, and let's get it up, an involuntary change in the coordination would be muscle tension dysphonia, it's called. And this is when there is actual unconscious adjustment of the closure in the folds. I'll link you to an article. I'm not sure if this one's good that I'm looking at here, but basically there are some people who have literally, they have a twitch. The muscles that attach to their vocal cords move without conscious action. So that's the only way that something can change without you changing it consciously. Now, very few people have this, so it's unlikely you do. If you feel like genuinely there is adjustments that you aren't consciously moving, if you feel like you're literally, your conscious mind is saying, I'm holding this still and it's doing this, literally that's what dysphonia is with your vocal cords. It's like you're doing this uncontrollably. Yeah, I'm not able to keep my hands still. The vocal cords are the same. If it's changing, something's changed. So unless you've got dysphonia, I'm asking you to think and feel what's changing when you go from this clean tone and yeah, what's changing? My view is yeah, an excess of arytenoid squeeze. A change in the arytenoid squeeze when I do that. I'm changing something, so the sound's changing. No, so the goal is, if you can do it clean like that, you've got to get that consistent so that you can have a distinction in your mind between when that arytenoid squeeze is when it's an excessive arytenoid squeeze and it's clamping down, versus when the arytenoid squeeze is balanced with the pressure underneath, the airflow. Yeah, airflow and squeeze always working in tandem and together. They're like a husband and wife, so to speak. So that's the crux of the issue. If something's changing, ask yourself, what am I changing for the sound to go from clean to distorted? If you can start distinguishing between those subtle sensations in here, you might start to be able to figure out what's going on. In terms of this siren, it's very good. So this proves you've got some connection into chest and the head. It's very nice. That's very nice and healthy. So I want to ask you this. Have you ever considered building an entire voice from that place? All of your notes, when coordinated in the healthiest way, will sit in that spot. What I mean by that is, as singers start to use lots of different consonants and vowels, they tend to drift away from that very precise, clear, clean position when the chords are vibrating very efficiently. Yeah? So as you build your voice outwards, as you branch out towards more range, different vowels, different consonants, all this kind of thing, if you can always rewind and go back to this nice siren that you have and think of it as you're working out, you're building your voice from that point. So if you can just find something clean, eep, 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 yeah, it all just sits there in that very precise spot. But if you're kind of losing that basic position, that foundation, you'll start to have things where you go to one vowel and it's yeah, and it's all over the place. Yeah? I want you to kind of think of it like, okay, I've found that spot, I found connection. Can I build my whole voice from that position and not just drift off on different vowels or different... Disregard all that and just focus on staying in that nice, clean position. That way, as you go out and branch out, you've got a better anchor to hold on to. Less chance of mucking around with all of the different things. So in terms of exercises and when you're working with scales, you need to work at, as you set that closure, making sure that you're keeping it very clean and precise. Singing requires significant effort, but that effort needs to be very, very focused and precise. And this is where people slip up. They don't realise that you've basically got to become a kind of surgeon. You've got to become like laser focused in the pressure you're putting on the voice, the adjustments you're making are super fine. Yeah, the difference between, just if I do this with my fingers like this, it's a tiny movement. You can probably barely see it on the camera. See that? Yeah, that's the kind of adjustments we're trying to make in our throat without being able to see it. We're trying to distinguish between that and that and that and that. Even when the chords are together, we're trying to distinguish between different levels of closure. And it's just like these tiny motions, very, very delicate and precise. Most struggling singers, they're like all over the place. It's like, There's other muscles like grabbing on, and it's just a big jumbly mess. So pay attention to details, pay attention to small changes, pay attention to things that you might not have noticed before. Take your time with it. Don't expect that you're necessarily going to be able to sing particularly well for a period of time, especially when you're branching out into new skills. I would say you're not necessarily ready and at the point technically where you would expect that song was going to work based on the sustain and the song itself. So have any of you out there experienced a similar problem to this? What fixes did you find? What solutions did you find? Maybe they're different to my own. Maybe you've got some different ideas. Let us know in the comments, and I'll speak to you soon. Bye! Thanks for watching this video, guys. If you want my help personally, you can book a one-on-one training session. Drop me a message. My email is in the description. And if you feel like this message was of value, then please feel free to make a donation equal to that value. Again, donation link is in the description. And finally, please share this video with other singers you know. Please subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. Give this video a thumbs up, and I will see you in another video. Bye!